The stagnant era of the Mauryan culture is of particular interest to historians to this day. Despite the distractions of Hittites to the west and Yellow River Persians to the east, the Mauryan people were always great thinkers, theologians, and artists alike. During the waning days of the classical era, however, there was a distinct focus on aggression against the Celtic groups that remained on the subcontinent. Perhaps it was their newfound English ways, their claims that a longbow could fell a war elephant, or their insistence on merely existing south of the Himalayas that brought about the ire of Mauryan kings. While the exact cause of the singular focus is still unclear, we do know that all efforts were made to bring the city of Babylon under Mauryan control, and at the expense of technological advancements and greater prosperity, this goal was attained, and the English Celts were left without a home as a nomadic people once more. It was soon thereafter that the Mauryans saw a renewed vigor and an outward focus beyond the subcontinent. An excerpt from The Methods of War in Asia by PartyElite. Hey everybody, it's PartyElite. Welcome back to our Humankind Forging India miniseries. As always, I am thoroughly excited to see how things progress today. We have made some great progress in the subcontinent. In fact, we have united the entire subcontinent under our banner, and we are ready to move on to the next era. Now, some of you have pointed out, rightfully so, that I've made a couple of unfortunate mistakes, let's call them. Closing this previous era off, we have missed out on a bit of science, and that's going to hurt us in the next era as we fall behind. Again, just as a reminder, we haven't been able to research anything for the last about, I think, 10 or so turns now. That'll be approximately 2 techs that we're behind now compared to some of the other cultures who have already entered the medieval era. So that is going to be a little scary at times because, yeah, we might fall behind. I also should have taken advantage of the fact that we didn't have anything going as far as research was concerned, and I should have moved a lot of population over to non-science related things across our cities. But in the middle of recording, sometimes this happens where I get caught up in the moment and I don't spend as much time sort of mulling over things, because this is a thing with me, if you're familiar with the channel, you'll have heard me say it before, I always get worried that I'm moving too slow. So I tend to hurry things along, and rather than thinking things through, sometimes I'll be like, yeah, we're fine. When I could have, yes, very easily taken advantage of the opportunity there and made some more money, made some more industries, sped other things along. But you know what? There's no use crying over spilt milk, right? What's happened has happened. Let's look to the future. And the future involves a couple of changes. One is, of course, with regards to the era. But before we get to that, I want to move down over here and implement an excellent suggestion that I got from the comments. Again, it didn't occur to me that we were actually within friendly territory. For some reason, I was mistakenly under the belief that we were not in friendly territory. But you guys pointed it out quite accurately that we are within Babylon's control over here, which means we're able to disband these units and actually bump up the population at Babylon instead. Now, unfortunately, we are, yes, losing some high-quality soldiers. These guys, well, the horsemen maybe not so much, but the double veterancy on the Samnaya is painful to lose, but might as well get something out of it rather than, have them lost at sea. It's kind of nice, actually. They're returning home, and as I kind of suggested at the end of last session, they're returning home to a new home, and I guess that's going to happen in a more literal sense than not. So let's go ahead and disband this unit. That should be +2, +1. So population should end up at 10 after all this is done. Disband this unit here. There we go. Up to 9. And disband this unit here up to 10. Hopefully they're not starving. Excellent. They're not. That's definitely for the better. I was worried that we might overdo it and we might start seeing a loss in population. So that's good. And promising. Up over here, Mohenjo-Daro, by the way, Mohenjo-Daro's doing okay now as well. Paschim Nagar's looking fine too, and Harappa, all is well here, slowly but surely growing. Okay, good stuff, good stuff. Just want to do a little double check on stability as well. Looking relatively comfortable. That feels good. We do have the statue of Zeus being built as well. Now, of course, Babylon is having some struggles with its stability. I do wonder if we can't rush out, let's say, for example, the public fountain. Oh, I can literally rush it out, actually. Spend that 1,000. We have plenty of money. Spend that 1,000. Get that, what is it? It's a +15 to stability. I don't think it's a bad idea. Why don't we go ahead and rush that out? There we go. It's still dropping, but not as significantly so I do feel like we can recover from it. Let's get the aqueduct going as well. It'll take 5 turns. Maybe down the line we'll go ahead and rush it as well when it's a little bit cheaper, but I don't want to spend 1,500 on it. All I wanted to make sure was that we'd be able to bounce out of the lowest level of stability sooner rather than later if push came to shove. We also want to get people working on the statue of Zeus, but I don't think anyone... Well, actually, we can get... Sure, why not? Why don't we go ahead and try and finish this thing off? So over to the statue of Zeus over here, 16 turns. What if... Harappa, what's your stability looking like? Pretty good, actually. So why don't we focus on the statue of Zeus instead as well? Down to 9 turns. That's huge, actually. Hariganga, let's go ahead and get you working on it as well. Down to 8 turns. Not as significant, but it's something. Parsa, I think... You know what? We can actually... Stability's looking pretty good. What if we go ahead and pile you on as well? 7 turns? Yeah, okay, sure. And you know what? Mohenjo-daro, why not? Why not get you involved too? Because it won't make that much of a difference. Fine. Let's leave it as the House of Scribes then. Sure, 7 turns. We'll have another wonder built, and we can kind of move on from that conversation. All right, good stuff. Now, some of you pointed out that we might actually need to eliminate all of these individual units to actually see the entire culture get destroyed. I'm not going to chase after that, of course. We are at a time of peace with the English, so we don't have to worry about that too much. And they might actually be able to establish themselves elsewhere, which is maybe unfortunate, but at the end of the day, not the end of the world. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these things that need to be wrapped up from the previous era before we enter the medieval era. Do I want to trade luxuries with the English? This is so, in such a funny way, it's almost like, I mean, it's a little too early for the conversation, the medieval era, as opposed to, you know, the, well, we're not in like the imperial era or the age of exploration, but it's just kind of funny to think about the events that have been going on in the subcontinent. I suppose I could trade with them. They're no longer a threat to us, or so we maybe believe. So sure, you know what? I'll accept this. It's been pointed out that I can counter this, and they might sometimes pay some money instead. But instead, you know, I'll go ahead and accept this and see what we might be exporting already. Nothing, it seems. And they have nothing to sell us either. So that's a funny... Why would they do that? Why would they... What are they trying to play at here? I'm curious if I try to get them to share their maps. They'll see ours as well, but they might have explored quite a bit, especially with the seas down over here. They're probably going to say no.
So, tell me, shall we become closer?
Again, I can use this to push a war, but I'm not looking for a war right now. At least not in the south. We might be looking for war to the north instead.
Change, even leaders and empires. I have a proposal for
Okay, the Huns want to trade.
Could be interesting.
Luxuries, I'm fine with that. Again, they're likely to buy stuff from us, so sure, I will go ahead and accept that. With the Huns. Why is this glowing? Is this just because of the previous conversation, I think? I think so. I think it's just a visual bug. But okay, that's all good by me. We have these guys down over here, still roaming around. When they come home, they'll be coming home to a very different home. A very, very different home. Keep pushing these guys down south over here. Oh, beautiful. Lake Hillier. I was wondering, actually, I remember seeing Lake Hillier, I hope I'm not mispronouncing that, in other games I've played of Humankind. So I was like, wait, we're at Australia, so where will this actually pop up? A site more likely found in the unreality of dream time than in waking hours, the lake is a place of spiritual rejuvenation. First discovered by the Achaemenid Persians. Wow, they've actually... Alright, you know, good for them. Good for them. Maybe we'll establish a little colony in Australia or something as well, but... For those of you that are unfamiliar with Dreamtime, I highly suggest looking it up. It's a very interesting indigenous Australian concept. It's where like a lot of the creation stories and stuff come from. It's fascinating stuff, so I highly recommend looking up Dreamtime. I would get completely distracted if I dove into it myself right now. In the interest of keeping the gameplay going, I'm going to force myself to to move forward. Now, our next steps are actually going to be to expand northwards, right? So why don't we go ahead and get into position over here? The, who are these? The Mayans, the Aztecs over here, have kind of butted up against us, and I wonder if we want to push them back anytime soon. They seem to be working pretty aggressively, actually. No, you know what? Why don't we go ahead and deal with our age-old enemies, that is the Achaemenid Persians. In order to take care of them and their northern expanse over here, we'll have to take care of these independent people who will be assimilating using a different technique. So why don't we move our soldiers up north? Let's get these guys moving up north as well. Again, all that damage we've taken will heal as we travel through safe territory over here. And the same with these guys as well. Let's go ahead and pull you up. and hopefully we'll build some nice stacks, proper like 4 stacks as we move through. I do wonder if I want to try and upgrade some of these armies as well, just to have, and get another army going over here as well, just in case war begins. No, you know what? I have some plans with regards to that. I think we'll be okay. All right. Is that the turn done? I believe it is. Let's go ahead and move on to the medieval era. Again, we've talked about this multiple times in the past, so I will not belabor the point. Just want to touch on it very quickly, folks. Again, if we go with the Khmer, my issue with going with the Khmer, and I'm probably butchering that pronunciation, my apologies, is that while there are cultural similarities, of course, and yes, they are part of the greater India region, again, we've been over this before, it moves us sort of outside of the subcontinent, and then the next step would also be outside of the subcontinent rather than pulling back into the subcontinent. Whereas with the so this is the Khmer, and they do have the Dhanvi Gaja, which is a fun instrument of war as well. But yes, the Khmer makes sense. However, I want to go with the Mongols over here for a few different reasons. There are sometimes tenuous connections, but the Mongols eventually ended up in Persia, and a blending of cultures over there, which is what this game is really about, right? Not just our playthrough, but the game overall is about blending of cultures, and I think that's what attracts me to this quite a bit. But the Mongols head on over to Persia, there's a bit of cultural blending that happens there, and then they head on over to the subcontinent, and then the culture that spawns out of that blending kind of stays in the subcontinent, and has stayed in the subcontinent, and still exists in the subcontinent. So rather than going with the Khmer, which is an excellent suggestion, and it does make sense, because that is where Indian culture kind of, again, I say Indian culture, I mean, of course, of the era, kind of transitioned and moved to as well. There was an expansion. However, I think Mongols, while geographically it might not make as much clear sense, I don't know. I feel like it makes sense in the longer run. Anyway, I've explained this multiple times. I just want to explain it once more in case it slipped people's minds or something like that. But I do think the Mongols make sense over here for the story we're trying to tell. Of course, the option is also there to just transcend instead, just stay as the Mauryans and transcend, and that is a tempting option because it does give us plus 10% additional fame gain for everything that gives us fame. So it's a good way to actually play catch up, and it stacks actually. If you transcend multiple times, it actually stacks the plus 10%. So it's not a terrible idea either. However, there was a cultural distinction between the classical era culture of the subcontinent and the medieval era culture of the subcontinent. So with that said, we're going to go ahead with the Mongols. It's going to be a fantastic time as we turn to a militarist faction, I believe for the first time, because as the Harappans, we were agrarians, and then as the Mauryans, we were athletes, and now we're playing as militarists moving forward. Mounted Mayhem gives us extra gains on ransacking. The Orda is something that'll actually replace our outposts, so we'd actually ideally at times not attach outposts to cities, and we're lucky to still have some outposts around the outskirts, around where war is actually going to kick off in the very near future, because the Orda has a lot of uses, including the recruitment of the Mongol horde. Swift to battle, the Mongol hordes thunder across the vast steppes, terrifying enemies and pillaging cities. They are actually able to grow much like our Neolithic era units were able to grow by collecting food, by ransacking and all that kind of stuff. They can multiply extremely quickly, and eventually we can actually disband some of those units and help bolster the population of our cities across the world. So I'm quite a fan of that approach. I'm quite a fan of quite a few things that we're looking at over here with the Mongols, including this turn to this militarist style, I suppose. Wind through the hair, blood on the blade. That is enough.
Wisdom and technical innovation from earlier eras bring humankind new knowledge, and we immediately use it to find new ways to kill each other off. Greater empires build more powerful armies, but brute strength may be defeated by superior innovations. It is brains versus brawn, with ever richer cities as tempting spoils for the victor. So will all those Mongol horses in this era lead to well-fertilized farms and fields for the next?
Love it. Love the transitional animations as well. Just cool to see how it all comes together. Again, touching on a comment from previously as well, I do wish more elements stayed from the previous era, but I quite like the blending. As the Mongols, you've reached the medieval era. Beautiful. We are again militarist. We've already actually got ourselves a militarist star. Didn't realize those carry over, but hey, I'll take it. We're only 10 away from getting our next militarist star. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. We'll be in first place in no time, considering we're about to dive into a couple of wars. Not that far away from getting our next scientist star. Everything's a lot closer, I guess, than usual, because we did basically get all of the potential stars from the previous era. But yeah, let's try and get those militarist stars as quickly as possible. As far as deeds are concerned, I wonder if there's anything in particular that we'd like to chase, like actively, because again, I want to try and we're playing a bit of catch-up, right? We are playing a bit of catch-up, and I'm a little worried that we'll continue to fall behind. I mean, when we get the chance, we'll try and discover electricity first, movable type first as well. Ooh, movable type might be something worth chasing in this era, actually. Okay, why don't we go ahead and, on that note, take a look at our technological options over here, and you will see, yes, that we did not get any carryover science from these previous, 10 or so turns of not researching anything. But as you can see as well, that's about 2 technologies worth of delay we're facing, which isn't nothing. It's not insignificant. It's not insignificant. War summons feels like the obvious first call over here for those crossbows and the pikemen as well, perhaps. I do believe we'll have access to our hordes right off the bat. I don't think we have to worry about any research for them, so that's helpful as well. With feudalism, we're able to use the colony model as well to help build cities that start with a bit of an advantage. I don't know if that's really necessary, though crop rotation is a nice little extra, and of course the peasants are slightly better than the levies, and I think even the citizens in combat. The combat strength of 20 becomes 27, I believe, right? So it's a slight improvement. It's a slight improvement. I'm thinking, yeah, feudalism first, perhaps. Oh, theological administrator over here gives us +1 city cap. Okay, so, oh man. Heavy infantry is also, well, we don't have enough iron for the heavy infantry, so I guess we could look past that for now until we acquire the iron. So sure, why don't we go ahead and get ourselves the war summons, right? And then we can go ahead and get ourselves theology for that city cap. And then we can come back and take a look at our options again. There's the hamlet, which is, I enjoy building hamlets just because of how they bring the map to life. And chivalry also gets us the knights over here. Again, not enough iron just quite yet. And on the topic of iron and looking at furnace steel over here, I will be building more forges. Some of you brought up quite excellently so that Wootz steel is an appropriate thing to try and bring to the world. Wootz steel was, if memory serves me right, and correct me if I'm wrong, invented in South India. And since we've recently conquered South India, I believe it's either South India or Sri Lanka, or a bit of both, a bit of column A, bit of column B. But since we've recently finished that conquest, why don't we go ahead and yes, play that up a little bit. So as soon as we're done, maybe the statue of Zeus will go back and build some forges and later on some furnaces and stuff as well. We did get some forges built, though, if I'm not mistaken. We do have a couple of them in place. There are a couple of slots where I think we might still need... Oh, I guess I could get the charcoal kiln in a similar vein as well. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's go ahead and see what's going on over here. The medieval era, though, should make things... Oh, come on now. We should be able to fight these guys without declaring war. They are in our territory. Force them to retreat, fair enough. Chase them down, finish them off. Again, they're just hanging around in our territory, so... just want to let them know they're not welcome here. These guys down over here, I'm hoping they make their way up north so I can tackle them with our northern armies as well. Oh, do I really want to go out of position over here just to crush these guys? Sure. We're militarist, I suppose this is playing up the militarism, right? Go ahead and auto-resolve this. We don't need to fight that. I don't imagine we lost anybody there. Yeah, excellent. Good stuff. And up over here, we can keep pushing up. I could actually claim Porima over here. I'm not sure what these strategic resources might be, but we could claim this. Oh, we could claim this. There's horses and there's iron. Okay, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? That kind of makes a lot of sense. So sure, let's go ahead and move up to that. And if we're going to be kicking war off more or less right away, well, why don't we go ahead and at Talitha, I think we'll try and take care of these independent people first. conquer some of their settlements. I'm a little worried, of course, about the old city cap situation. Maybe we like conquer them and raise them and establish our own outposts there instead. Maybe that's most fitting as the Mongols, while also keeping an eye on our city cap until, you know, the appropriate research gets done. Alternatively, I could wait until some of my other units are more in position before we dive into some straight-up aggression. Sure, I think that makes sense. Let's keep exploring down over here, though. The Achaemenid Persians I'm a little curious about. Oh, damn. That's not ideal. These are an aggressive people down over here. They're definitely going to destroy this boat. We're going to have to retreat. Let's be a bit more cautious then. I say as I move my entire movement speed's worth of distance here. But, yeah, I'm a little curious about the Achaemenid Persians. They've obviously expanded northwards. I wonder where else they've gotten themselves out to, you know? Have they landed in North America already, perhaps? You know, have they made their way over? These guys are coming north. When they retreat, though, they'll retreat down south. I think. Unless I come in from the side here. Sure, let's do it. Up they go. We'll go ahead and crush them with these guys. If we're able to. Oh, don't get too far away from me now. Well, don't be unreasonable. All the way up to there? Sure. Some housekeeping. I think it's a reasonable thing to do. Get all these, Wow. I'm so glad that we were able to accomplish that. I'm so glad that we crushed the English. The English have fallen. A brilliant civilization fell into ashes. Will it be remembered at the end? And no, when I say that, it's not because, just to be clear, it's not because specifically they're the English or anything and we're in the subcontinent, but because, you know, they're one of our original enemies, and there's sort of a poetry to being the ones to wipe them out. And to this baller music too. Oh, that feels great. This empire is eliminated. You may not interact with it anymore. Yeah, no doubt. I was worried that we would have to deal with the ship over here as well, but nope, we've crushed all of their active land units, and so an entire people have fallen. They will live on to a degree, I suppose, in the populations of the subcontinent and beyond, but not for too long. Eventually, the melting pot will take over, right? Down over here, let's keep these guys moving as well. But that was, that's really cool. But yeah, one competitor has been removed. Unfortunately, I do believe they were the bottom of the pile anyway, so it's not like they were much of a threat to our successes. But still good to accomplish that. A nice little milestone, a little feather in our cap, as it were. Good stuff over here, up top over here. Continue to move. How do I get up there? Wow, these mountains are just really getting in the way, eh? And I imagine they block this angle of approach off as well. So why don't we go ahead and move on over this way. We'll try and get up and yeah, claim those horses, claim that iron, and claim these horses as well. We got plenty of influence to spend, so I figure we go for it, right? And I could actually, since these guys are close, these guys are going to make their way up as well. I'm like, what am I waiting for to summon these hordes? What am I waiting for? Land and freedom. The Empire is a vast, glorious land of mountains and grasslands stretching countless leagues and full of wonders and mysteries. Over many generations, your people have subdued many of its corners, but now you must ask the question, to whom do these lands truly belong? That's an interesting decision over here. Either we go ahead and use communal land to give extra food per number of attached territories on all cities, which is huge, or we go with inherited land. Family trees will best cultivate the soils over the generations, giving us the option to claim, attach, and merge territories with money instead of influence. I feel like communal land is the more fitting call over here. I feel like that makes more sense. However, I'm not looking to spend 1,800 influence nearly on a civic just quite now. I definitely am going to be spending some influence in capturing some of these territories up north over here, so I want to make sure that we don't end up at a deficit or in an otherwise problematic scenario. Mullifane is still not attached, which actually works out for us, because over here we can go ahead and scoop up a bunch of the Mongol horde. Again, it costs a bit of influence, but not all that much. These guys are further back as well, but you know what? Let's go ahead and pull out the Mongol horde over here. Again, a full 4 stack of the horde. We can move them over, and as they perform their duties, they'll go ahead and collect food, and that'll give us reinforcements, and it'll actually grow our army. And I wonder if we just position them out over here so they can maybe push back against these guys if they decide to get a little too aggressive, perhaps, or if we move them north as well. And you know what? Since we're doing it, why don't we go ahead and get the Mongol horde over here as well? Again, we've got full pop, so might as well recruit these guys. Beautiful. And the growth will resume immediately. Down over here as well. I think we'll wait on this one. If the Achaemenid Persians declare war upon us, we'll get the Mongol horde over here at Gina. We just got to make sure we don't actually do this attachment over here unless absolutely necessary. And that will allow us to have a bit of a offensive force here immediately to deal with Asur. And by then, I imagine we'll have population back in Talitha as well, and we'll be able to summon the Mongol hordes as well. Again, you need to have a population of 4 in order to do that. So just something to keep in mind. It's not like we can just spam that whenever we want to. All right, that's that turn done. Good progress over here. The statue of Zeus is 5 turns away, 4 turns now after this turn is done. Research is looking good. I do wonder if I want to push more of our population into science just to make up for lost time. Might not be a bad idea. That House of Scribes, I think, helped us quite a bit because it'll only take 3 turns over here now. How are we feeling? We're feeling okay? Feeling okay. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at Mohenjo-Daro. Can we establish over here perhaps the forge? Right, 4 turns it'll take. Oh, we're actually losing money. I think it's because of our army upkeep is, getting rather expensive. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at maybe the, levy administration. That'll take 9 turns, 8 turns. We'll flip this around. I'm not too worried about losing 7 per turn. That's not the end of the world. I think a bit of ransacking will do the trick, and maybe a war will bring us the money we need, right, in reparations. Okay, so this is Mohenjo-Daro done. 4 turns until Statue of Zeus is done. What if I were to focus on this instead? Nah, still no big deal. So let's get that forge done. Not going to spend the money on it in case, push does come to shove. Keep these guys moving up. Keep these guys moving up as well. The Mongol horde. You can get all the way up to there. Excellent. Up over here, meanwhile. What if... What's going on up over here? We don't have to worry about adjacency slowing us down or anything like that either. Oh, what happened over here? What happened over here? That's a lot of ruins to clear. I'm very curious. Was there like a... We didn't do this. Was there a particularly aggressive people up over here? Was this the destruction of the Etruscans? Oh, you know what? I think it might be. And looks like there's something for us to ransack up over there. All right, you know what? Looks like the Achaemenid Persians are very much wanting to go toe-to-toe with us for this conquest of the north. So I welcome the challenge. I welcome the challenge. Now, building this outpost will actually, unfortunately, cost our entire population. So I wonder if I want to do it that way or if I'd rather use our other units. I think I'd rather use these other units and use these hordes themselves to do all the fighting. And then once we get everybody up there, I don't think I'll be too concerned about the rate of expansion. What do we have here? Our tenant. Our first tenant, in fact. Are we falling behind? Oh yeah, I guess so. I guess we are. We have only the one option. We've really not focused on faith, eh? Okay. Seek wisdom is the only option we have? Wait, seek wisdom... We already have. So we're up over here then. That was weird. I'm not sure why the menu... I was a little confused. I was like, wow, medieval era and only our first tenet. But no, it is our second tenet. That was a little confusing. Undertake pilgrimage, yield to none, observe fasts, give alms, or bear not false witness. The workings of the universe can only be discovered through truthful testimony, regardless of provenance. Oh, I'm not sure what makes the most sense for our faith. Remember, our faith is separate from our culture in the sense that, like, the culture that we chose, Mongols, is different from the faith that we're trying to develop, which is from the subcontinent. And I'm not sure... I'm not sure. I don't think yield to none makes sense. Observe fasts. I mean, I know in quite a few faiths of the subcontinent, fasting is a relatively big deal. There is, of course, things like Ramadan. I know Hinduism has some fasting as well, if memory serves me right. I know Jainism has some fasting, if I recall correctly. In Jainism, you can actually opt to commit suicide. I don't know if that's the right word for it. I'm not sure if that's the right word for it, but it's and correct me if I'm wrong if anybody knows more about Jainism than I do, and I'm sure there are people out there that do. But at the end of your life, if you feel as though you've kind of become a burden to society and stuff like that, you can opt to fast to your death. If, again, memory serves me right, not 100% sure. So that's Islam, that's Hinduism, and that's Jainism covered. Buddhism I'm not familiar enough with, I'll be honest, with regards to fasting in Buddhism. And as far as Christianity, there's I don't know if there's entire fasts. I know there are times when you give up certain foods and stuff like that, of course, but I don't know about full-on fasts. I'm not sure. It's like a blend of all the religions I'm talking about in the subcontinent that come to mind, at least. I'm sure there are more that I'm forgetting about. Let's go with bear not false witness. I feel like the workings of the universe can only be discovered through truthful testimony regardless of provenance. Considering like all the, again, the Vedas as well, and they're actually entire scripts and not stanzas, but sections, I suppose, and sects even that talk about questioning miracles and blind faith and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I feel like bear not false witness maybe is the right option, and I'm having a hard time because I don't want it to come across as like, oh, I need that +5 science, because I do, but I do feel like bear not false witness is a fair pick. I'm not sure. You know, let's go with bear not false witness. Let's go for it. I don't want to spend 20 minutes on the screen. Choose this tenet. Bear not false witness. It keeps in line with our seek wisdom pick as well, right? So it keeps our faith kind of unified in its direction. So I'm not too upset about that pick or torn, I guess, about that pick as I was initially. Bear not false witness to idle armies. Down over here, we're going to try and avoid the. Okay, hello. Don't tell me they can attack me from up over there. We have these guys down over here as well. I'd like these guys to survive and explore as much of the world as possible, of course. If we can circumnavigate the globe in the medieval era with these people, I'd be quite pleased, actually. Quite pleased. Right now, though, I gotta circumnavigate some Achaemenid Persians over here. Okay, not a fan of the situation we find ourselves in. We could get these swords involved. I think they're close enough. Yeah. We might have pushed a little too hard, too fast. What's the deal here? What is this battle? What are we up against? Horsemen and Immortals. Getting the swords in here might not be a terrible idea. Our other reinforcements are way too far behind. And I don't think pushing up from Gina will happen quickly enough. These guys have reinforcements as well, actually. It is another unit of swordsmen. Alright, so why don't we go ahead and get our swordsmen involved. As much as I would love to claim this territory right here, right now, unfortunately, I feel like I need my reinforcements to be a bit closer to the front line here. I think we could try and play keep away, right, with just the horde. We could try and play keep away. Alright, let's go for it. This is a bit of a risk because we are weaker overall. We don't have any high ground to take advantage of. On our side of the battlefield, they definitely have the better ground over here. If they fall back to the high ground, we might be able to come around them and take the high ground back over here. We'll see. Let's do it. I think our deployment is okay. We have to make sure we don't let them have our flag, of course. Let's push these guys to the side over here. They'll come around and try and take the high ground. Of course, the enemy is the attacker, so they'll have the first move. Let's see what comes of it. A little worried about those Immortals. Very worried about those Immortals, actually. Come the swords all the way. Here we go. That's going to hurt a lot. See? These guys still have to come through as well. We got these veterans over here, too. Down they go. And they're going to capture that flag right off the bat. Oh, no, actually, they've decided not to. Interesting call. Oh, there they are. Okay, fair enough. Not loving it so far. Not loving it so far. Came in a little too strongly here, I think. Not ideal. Okay. I do need to clear these guys out, right? If I pull back, how far back can I go? Quite far back. Why don't we pull up to here? Well, that's fun. You make it look like they're in range and then turns out they're not. That's no good. We only have the range of 1 now. That's the funny thing about the Mongol horde, is that they've been changed so many times during the early access, like open dev stuff. Firing these guys back, so I can maybe come up over here, try and take care of those swords right off the bat. Okay, let's pull these guys over here. Pull these guys over here. Or I could come up to there. Puts me right next to these immortals, though, and I don't like that. Alright, let's try... I think we might need to pull these swordsmen in, actually. Let's go for it. As much as I didn't want to at first, I think I need them in here. Get you out. And we'll start with the firing, right, just to soften these guys up a little bit. And see where that leaves us for the swordsman. Fire away over here. Okay, good stuff. Now I think we could probably... Oh, are you kidding me? We can't eliminate them. Go chasing after the immortals, perhaps? Try and take the high ground. So, oh, they're not going to pull back to the high ground. They want my flag, obviously, right? They want my flag. So why don't I go ahead and creep up to here, trying to hold the enemy back as well at the same time. Finish these swords off, right? Then send our own swords in and go into a defensive stance up over here. And that should prevent, hopefully, the immortals from moving too freely. I can pull back now. Again, if I am going to play keep away, then, you know, maybe I should. Pull back to here. Pull back to here. These poor guys, these poor swordsmen. But I'm trying to stay away from the immortals. Maybe a bit of a risky move there. Alright. End the round. Defensive stance for these guys. Entering a new era and then diving into combat right away is not my idea of a good time. But you know what? That's oh dear lord. I was gonna say that's not too bad. No, that was really bad. That was also really bad. This is rough. This is very rough. Lost another unit there. Come on, men. Hold your ground. Pull around the side over here. Pull around the side over here. Let's go. Gotta get that flag back before the next round ends, right? Fire away. Come on now. Battlefield's not big enough either for us to pull too far away from the immortals. Let's not forget. Fire away with you as well. Down you go. We can probably finish them off and then move in and capture it as well. We're gonna lose these swordsmen. Not feeling too good about this battle, actually. I don't think it's gonna be a victory for us. Wow, that doesn't help. That doesn't help. If we take this, they'll try and they'll eliminate whichever unit is on top of it, and then they'll take it right back. So why don't we go ahead and maybe pull back a little bit? Can't pull back far enough, unfortunately. Alright, let's move in. Far from ideal. Also, as far as actually claiming these territories, this is far from ideal. Here they come. A little bit of damage down there, but not nearly enough. Again, they're immortals. They're anti-large. They're meant for this, right? We're not in an ideal spot here. Fire down here, trying to eliminate one unit, maybe. Back over here. Okay, fire away. Come on. There we go. Alright, I'll take it. Veterans too, unfortunately. Fire away. Let's see if we can't pull up to the high ground, maybe. Pull you back up to the high ground as well. Unfortunately, there's the river crossing, but I'll take it. And they'll just capture that, of course. It'll be next turn, though. Okay. What can I do in response to this? Not enough population over here. These guys are still making their way over. And of course, we will. We'll continue to do exactly that. Really blocking ourselves over here? Now we're okay. Move up. Get these guys moving up as well. Again, just waiting for these guys to clear out before I think I can give this move order. It's okay. You know, if we lose this horde, it's not the end of the world. It's not like we spent forever recruiting them or anything. It does hurt a little bit because of the loss of population over here. Didn't go as smoothly as I'd hoped, but hey, we've delivered pain as well, right? We've delivered some pain as well, and it's okay because the real horde down over here is marching. So I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. It's not going exactly how I'd envisioned it, but we'll manage. We'll manage. Oh, let's move in over here actually. Make sure I don't miss anything up there either. And let's dive into this turn. Yikes! This battle though, for real. All right, what are you gonna do? If we're lucky. Ah, we're not lucky. Of course not. That's these guys taken care of, okay. I'm not going to survive a whole turn like this, and these guys are about to die as well. So here's our... Is this our first defeat in battle? Quite possibly. Ironic, considering we're the militarists now, and that's when it happens. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. We caused a bit of damage, right? Let's not forget we did cause some damage. We lost a lot more, unfortunately. But hey, like I said, the real hordes are coming, right? We'll be there in no time. These guys coming through, they can move quite fast, actually. Push you through. And these guys over as well. And send these guys over too. I do wonder if I shouldn't separate the elephants. Get up to the actual outpost itself versus... Oh, you know what? That does make a significant difference, so sure. Go ahead and move you guys over. And go ahead and move you guys over as well. Let's merge these guys together. Let's merge these guys together so they can kind of move at similar speeds to each other, right? Pop you in there. There we go. 4 stack, 4 stack. Okay, good. We're making money again. Good. You know, maybe losing that army wasn't such a bad deal for us. All good. We'll recover in no time. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. I'm not too concerned. Down over here, let's go ahead and keep exploring this archipelago. Oh, man. Oh, how it teases me. We're fine. There's plenty to find at sea as well. I'm sure we'll find more. Keep exploring over here. I actually don't think we'll be able to circumnavigate the globe, because I'm pretty sure there's plenty of deep water over here. I would assume, at least, there's plenty of deep water. We'll find out, I guess. Babylon, why don't we go ahead and help with this? It'll take 2 turns still. That's why we won't bother. Then why don't we go ahead and establish... What, do we have... a charcoal kiln, perhaps? Maybe the water mill. We do have some rivers in Babylon. Artisan workshop. No, you know what? Let's go ahead and establish our House of Scribes over here. Like I was saying earlier, maybe I should dedicate a little bit more to science. We've got room for it. So maybe as our population grows, we'll go ahead and dedicate some more to science to pick up the pace a little bit, because I do fear we're falling behind. Any second now, you know, I don't know, somebody might show up with some rifles, and the next thing you know, I'm in trouble. Not a fan of that idea. Not a fan of that idea at all. Alright, that's the turn done. War summons has been researched. Excellent. Okay, good. These guys are moving back down south, it looks like. Oh, these guys are coming up, though. I just don't want them to claim these territories, so I'm not sure what's happening there. War summons research, though. We're moving on to theology for that city cap increase. That's promising. Can I continue heading over this way? Follow up over here. And it doesn't look like they've claimed this for themselves just quite yet, so that's good. But move you up to there. Stay away from their armies. I don't want to engage in combat until I am ready to dive in. Really unfortunate. I should have just retreated from that battle, but I got too... it's a little bit too much hubris there. Just a little bit too much. But hey, you live and you learn, right? Back over here. Let's keep you moving as well, please. Oh, you know what I should actually do with Mohenjo-Daro? After this is done, we're going to do that. Okay, stability is not too high. So we're going to want to chase stability a little bit. Do we really not have a garrison here? I guess not. Having a garrison plus a city watch helps. Let's go ahead and establish a garrison maybe all the way out over here. High ground right next to the mountains. I think it's a nice spot. We have a good pass over here as well, maybe. Let's pop this one down afterwards. Do that first, actually. And then I want to establish more of these guys. Right? I should be able to get some more money out of the adjacency bonuses over here, I think. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But anybody else to move around? I don't think so. Down over here, these guys. Let's go. Continue exploring. Get these guys pulling on over to here. What was that sound effect? Nothing there. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Thought I missed something. What do we have here? A watery grave. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's what it was. The great coastal city of Babylon sends fishing crews far up and down the surrounding coastline. Now, one of the new crews has made a startling discovery: wreckage of an ancient galley lying well preserved in shallow waters. After brief scouting, an experienced diver offers to explore with their gang and promises a fixed payoff for the Empire. They warn that the expedition isn't for the inexperienced. What is your choice? So we can have a contract, gain some money out of it, or we can use our own military. Chance of unexpected consequences. I've only ever had bad luck with this. Only ever had bad luck. Or we should let the dead sleep lest we offend their old gods. Don't know if that's necessarily the way to go. I think, you know what? I think mobilizing might be the right call over here. I'm thinking the idea of our military can explore the wreckage alone. The rewards are worth the risk. I feel like that hubris, you know, is something we've been showing. So why not let's follow through with that and maybe hurt ourselves. But that's part of the fun, right? So we'll mobilize our own troops. We don't need the money that desperately. Maybe there's something greater that awaits us, right? Our military can explore the wreckage alone. The rewards are worth the risk. It's obviously going to go terribly wrong for me. There's no other way for it to play out, right? It's obviously going to go terribly wrong for me. The turn here done, though. Don't make your move. Don't try it.
The tales of Zeus are full of questionable morality and poor decisions.
I really like that one. Questionable morality. I really like that one a lot. All right, good stuff. Statue of Zeus has been completed. That should give us a nice little bump, right? Man, we are well behind the folks in first place. That's a little nerve-wracking. We are well behind them. Babylon, what to do, though? After the House of Scribes, perhaps we chase after schools and libraries, retaining some of that old culture of the region, some of that fascination with the sciences and knowledge and all that kind of stuff, right? Sure, why don't we queue some of these things up? I do want to start making more money as well. We're making surprisingly little money considering how far along we are. So that is something I want to think about as well. 4 turns for this. How long will this take? 6 turns. Alright, fine. Let's do the levy administration first then. Like I said, I do want to start making some more money. I'm a little concerned about how little we're making. Looks like we are uncontested now. We can also upgrade these guys. Aw, do I really want to get rid of my my Samnaya? 34 strength versus 31. Now, does that include the veterancy? I don't think so. 633 4-3. You know what? I might actually keep these guys as Samnaya. I don't think I want to lose my elephants here. My war elephants. I don't know. I like the war elephants. They're fun, so I might keep them. Let's go ahead and move on up to here. Stay close to the border. No valid adjacent territory to go. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. So there's this spot over here. It'll take 1 turn to establish there, 2 turns to establish there. Here it'll happen right away because there are ruins that we're building on top of. It'll happen right away. So maybe, I mean, none of these are ideal. None of these are ideal, but maybe we establish one like right over here. It's not the best spot, but it'll do the trick, I think. Plus 18, plus 18, plus 7, plus 19 up over here. Also 0 turns it'll take. Okay, cool. That's good. That's actually, if these guys do it, I think it'll still eat up the entire... Yeah, it will. Let's get these guys coming through as well. Again, this one will take some time, but this one will happen immediately, and I want to make sure... You know what, actually? I feel like we should do it right now. Just because I see that dotted blue line there, the dashed blue line, whatever you want to call it, it just makes me nervous. We'll hold off. We'll hold off. Down over here, let's go ahead and cross on over. Good stuff. Whereabouts are we right now? Okay. This is Australia. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And let's get these guys back to shallow water, make sure they actually survive this journey. And there they are again, these Achaemenid Persians. Oh, don't you dare take that before me. Of course they will. Let's keep our hordes over here, maybe moving towards Nenqui to burn it down. I think it makes sense for the horde, right? Can't reach up there. Okay, fair enough. Just thought I'd check. Down over here, these guys, let's move you up to there. See what's going on. Is that in the water? Are you kidding me? In the water? Come on, who's gonna like recruit a unit in there? I guess we could take these guys onto the water, right? There is that option. It's just kind of silly to look at. Bastim Nagar. So since we finished the statue of Zeus, let's go ahead and establish what? Let's get our animal barns going over here. We do have horses. Let's get the animal barn going. Let's deal with this food situation because we will be losing pops soon if we don't do anything about it. And have we really built all of the forges? Huh. Oh, I think we might have. Alright, we'll let that happen first. What else is idle? Hariganga, let's go ahead and establish the forge over here. Helping industry. I mean, things build so slowly over here, so we might as well accelerate that first before anything else. And is that really it? Yeah, Harappa has some work it's doing. Not that it needs to. I can change its focus. And go ahead and chase after maybe the levy administration instead. Again, also looking to make some more money over here. Maybe not a terrible idea. Because again, stability is always fantastic, so like, there's no rush on the aqueduct. Maybe I'm being too, maybe I'm not being cautious enough, but I don't feel like there's a rush on the aqueduct. Alright, looking okay. What do we have here? That's what we have here. Interesting. Hate-filled, of course. War support is growing. I mean, I could push some demands. They have an active demand that they're using against us right now. They're not a chance in hell, buddy. Okay, war might be right on the horizon over here again. And I have a couple of grievances of my own that I can push, but I just want to make sure I'm in a position to push them before I do. And I feel like we're pretty much there, right? Because again, worst case scenario. Now, Talitha, unfortunately, not enough of a population to recruit a new horde if necessary, but Gina over here absolutely can. And they are ranged, so we should be able to attack over the walls and stuff. We should be fine on that front. These guys have pulled back. They're healing right now. Okay. These guys are pretty badly damaged, but also healing right now. I don't want to get too far out of position, obviously. My plan is... what? My plan is to get these guys to establish the outpost over here. How long would it take us to get up there? 2 turns. And then how long would it take to actually ransack it as well, right, is the real question. Take a bit of time. Meanwhile, over here, we can establish the outpost. Again, 0 turns for some of these spots. 1 turn up there. 2 turns there. God, I think we just established one like over here or something. And just take the fact that this is adjacent to it, like it's not the end of the world or anything, I don't think. This is a plus 18 food. This is also plus 18. That's plus 3 industry. Is plus 1 industry really going to be the make or break over here? No, I think we'll go ahead and pop the outpost down over here. 650 influence is not all that much. Let's go for it. Beautiful. Go ahead and take the horses here as well. Beautiful. And I guess we could establish this harbor right away. Yeah, sure, why not? Why not? It's not that expensive. Go for it, and then eventually we'll go ahead and pick that curiosity up and see what it is. These guys, do I really want to keep them going over here? I think so. Before they attach this, I wouldn't mind destroying this, right? Now, this gives us the horse and 1 unknown strategic resource. This will give us horse and iron. That's all well and good. What do we have here?
This is something you need to see.
Yes, friend. Say what you wish. I will listen.
A non-aggression pact. I don't know if that's very fitting to just simply accept as the Mongols, perhaps in exchange for some form of tribute. So I'll go ahead and counter this one.
Maybe? No? Or would you purchase a yes?
Apparently not.
You must be out of your mind.
A little bit.
No chance.
I am a little out of my mind, yes. I'm not sure if that's going to play out in our favor, truth be told. But we'll, like I like to say, cross that bridge when we get there. I'm sure it'll be okay. Bust some nugget over here. Why don't we go ahead and chase after the artificial reservoirs as well, maybe? Get some more food going? Probably not a bad idea. Plus 2 food on river. We have some... oh yeah, we've got a fair bit of river going on over here, so fair enough. And what is this battle down over here? The Achaemenid Persians getting a little aggressive. Evenly matched, they say. They have the veterancy, though. We'll go ahead and pull back. It's unfortunate, because it helps their war support ever so slightly. Not a fan of that, obviously. Well, not that they need it, actually. Hurts ours, though. And that matters, obviously. Alright, let's see how this plays out. And the turn over here. Got our Agrarian Star. Good stuff. Militarist Stars will be coming in droves in just a moment, I think. Finally cracked that 4,000 as well. Meanwhile, the Ghanaians are still stuck at 4,600, so that's promising. At least we're playing catch-up. Theology will help start gaining influence a little bit faster. And then what comes next, though? After Theology, we haven't queued anything up. Heavy Infantry might actually make sense. We'll have access to that second iron when we're done, claiming some of these territories up over here. So there's that. But I do wonder if that's our main pick. I mean, I'd like to get to gunpowder sooner rather than later if we move on to the next era quickly. So maybe we should consider military architecture instead. Get those trebs, get the fort, and get also the the absorb city option, which would help us with city cap as well, right? Indirectly, but it would help. And I did forget that movable type is actually in the next era. It's in the early modern era. I thought it was in the medieval era. That's my bad. Gunpowder warfare. Yes, so sure. Why don't we go ahead and chase after military architecture next, after theology, and then perhaps alchemy to get us moving towards movable types sooner rather than later. I'm thinking too far ahead, though, maybe. Maybe just a little bit. My apologies. My apologies. What are we looking at in terms of our culture? Decent spread. Are we actually more influential over here than not? Might need to push my influence a bit more over there. Ooh, hello, there's a pyramid over here. I didn't need more excuses to go to war with the Achaemenid Persians. Fair enough. All right. Fair enough. Why don't we go ahead and scoop up this curiosity, see what it is. Might help our science and all that. Yeah, sure. Let's send them all in. It's fine. Keep them together. Find a wreck, influence, and science. Not a problem. Pull up over here. Do wonder if these guys are going to try and make a move or what's going on over here. And over here, are we able to reach a suitable spot just quite yet? I don't think so. Push up. Up over there. Oh, you know what? 5 turns it'll take. 5 turns. 11 turns up there. I mean, sure, I'd rather claim it than not, obviously. It'll take 5 turns from now. It'll take 5 turns from the future, too. 7 turns up there. Just looking for a place with maybe better industry, but I don't know if that would be likely. It's a very small region as well, actually. This is one of the smallest regions. But let's go for it. Go ahead and claim it. Make it ours. Send these guys... Oh, hello. What's happened here? Ah, they've attached it. Damn it, we were just a little too late. Just a little too late. We can't stay in their territory anymore. That's okay. I do wonder, though, if we can't explore up over here. Looks like they have an outpost somewhere up over here. There it is. Gracias. How difficult is it? Or how time-consuming is it, rather? 4 turns? That's not a problem. Let's go for it. The ransacking going. There we are. 4 turns. Get some food. Get some money as well. Again, the food will help generate another Mongol horde, which is why we want to do that, you know, more often than not. I wonder if there are any other spots we can ransack as well. When war kicks off, then yes, but on the lead up to war, not so much. I almost wonder if I shouldn't declare it myself. A surprise war isn't, I mean, I think it's fitting for the Mongols, right, to just come through when we feel like it. Or I could wait for them to be the ones that declare it. Because just as a reminder, if we declare a surprise war, it does hurt our war support throughout the entirety of the war. We have a couple of turns before we have to push some of these grievances. Right? And I don't necessarily want them to take away from our final options when we've actually won. Oh, don't tell me you're... That's some nonsense. We retreated out to the middle of nowhere, so we're gonna die now. Great. Can't go back to where we retreated from. Can't return to the shallow water down there. Alright, fantastic. Beautiful. Love it. Love it. It's my favorite thing to see. And then down over here. Let's keep moving. Pull out to the side, and then next turn we'll come back into some shallow water if need be. And I think need will be, almost certainly. Okay, cool. I want to see if these guys declare war. I want to see if they'll be the aggressors over here, or if they've learned their lesson. But their northern hegemony over here now is going to be challenged just as it was in the south. Would you look at that? A little bit of movement there, a little bit of movement here. Okay, good stuff. Theology researched. Where are you going, my friends? Both entering my territory over here. Okay, let's go ahead and pick out, as I was saying, military architecture. Maybe a little premature there, truth be told. We could maybe chase feudalism instead to get that crop rotation. Sure, let's go with feudalism first, and then we'll get military architecture. Because again, we're not going to get to gunpowder warfare for some time yet. We do have to enter the next era for it, and the scientist star rather, could be attained in 5 turns. So why don't we do that? Let's go ahead and move these guys down over here. I will defend my lands, of course. These guys will join as reinforcements. I'm sure we're going to see a retreat over here. I could pull these guys back in afterward. Oh, you know what? I could pull these guys down over here, force a retreat, and then engage them in a second battle using our war elephants, potentially. How far can we travel still? A fair bit. Okay, let's do it. They're not going to like this, obviously, but let's... I guess that's kind of the point. Go for it. Push them back, crush both these units. These are some of the remnants from that battle, right, from over here. Getting our vengeance now. How far are you gonna go? Oh, too far maybe? Nope. We can still engage them and drag these guys in as well. Beautiful. That worked out perfectly, like clockwork. Love it. Love it. Do we have to manual battle this? I don't think... Oh. Seems reinforcements have gotten involved over here. Quite a few immortals. Okay. Okay, things just got juicy. Now, they'll be all the way back over there, so they won't come by too readily. I wonder if I shouldn't actually get those Mongol hordes from Gina and over the next 2 turns try and get them up over here, right? What are we doing otherwise? We're just kind of like quietly sitting pretty, I suppose. Unfortunately. Now, these guys next turn, they'll be able to join in. Up over here, we're still raiding up there, so sure. Down at Gina, let's go ahead and gain a couple of Mongol hordes. Next turn, they'll be able to move. That's fine. I can wait that long. This is an interesting predicament we find ourselves in. A self-made predicament. I deserve it if I lose that battle. I very much do. And one idle city over here with Bustim Nugget. I wonder if we should build another Obelisk of the Gods. Because they do give us, if we take a look at our tenets, Bear Not False Witness gives us plus... Oh no, actually, you know what? You know what? We should go with Research Quarters instead, if anything. They're pretty cheaply available. And this copper, I guess, has been burned down or something. I don't remember not having this, but let's go ahead and queue that up. 1 turn it'll take. Fair enough. Again, help all those forges in our nation, right? Because copper, no matter where it's from, it gets used. I was making a mistake earlier of thinking it was restricted to where the copper is actually available within the city itself, but no, it's nationwide or empire-wide. So we'll get that going, and then we'll go ahead and establish what? Maybe some science quarters as well. Stability here is looking fantastic, so we can afford to do that. Fair enough. Fair enough. But yes, this battle beckons. 130 versus 192. We have a bunch of Samnaya. Some of them are triple veterancy, so that's all good. I don't think... Oh, these guys don't have any units that are from the medieval era. They're not even in the medieval era, right? So we should be fine over here. But again, those immortals are scary. They are scary. Fortunately, they're far back. They might have to contend with some rivers over here, though they do have this clear space over here. I think if we're able to quickly like eliminate this unit and sit down just on the flag over here, we'll have a pretty instant victory. Might not even have to bring these guys in, right? I think we'll have a pretty instant victory. But folks, not going to find out about that until next time. This, I don't know if you can call it a cliffhanger. I think victory is guaranteed, right? But this is where we're going to call it a session, folks. I'm really excited to see what comes next session. The conquest of the North has begun in earnest. We are pushing back the Achaemenid Persians, our historical enemy, our rivals for generations upon generations, for millennia even, actually. We are now pushing up north. We'll take this region, and then we'll start swinging over westward bound and push back the Norsemen. Hang on a second.
Did anyone ever tell you how ugly you are?
Okay, no. That is a different... I was like... That's a different color, right? Yeah, it's these guys. They're Norsemen. Okay, fair enough. Well, either way, what I was saying is we'll push back against the Aztecs over here and the Norsemen as well. Maybe even crush the Goths. I don't think they've been able to expand beyond what they have right now. It'll be interesting to see how things develop next time, folks, but I do think war with the Achaemenid Persians is right around the corner, and hopefully it'll be another glorious victory for our glorious empire. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this session. If you did, you know what to do. Let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment. As always, they make a massive difference in how I approach content on the channel, what I do, what I don't do, what I pursue, and what I do when I do what I do. Again, I'm sure you're familiar with the drill by now. As always, folks, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big ol' thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.